Hey yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are talking the latest for WWE 2K22, as there are some reports talking about potential changes on the way that the roster and the game cycle is going to be working, all of which are just rumors as of right now, but we're going to talk about why this change is exciting and it could be really good for the series. As always, to continue being up to date, make sure to turn on those notifications and let's get into it. These latest rumors / reports once again comes from Sports Gamers Online, which before SummerSlam they reported correctly that the game was going to have a release schedule of next year. That of course, as we know now, it's going to be happening on March 2022. Now they're getting into specifics and some of the changes that visual concept could be giving us when it comes to the roster. The reports get specific, indicating that originally the first DLC package for WWE 2K22 was said to be based around former NXT North American champion Bronson Reed, but unfortunately when he was let go, along with a number of other NXT superstars, DLC plans for WWE 2K22 were blown up. Alongside Bronson Reed, during that same day, WWE had other superstars being released, and that's not even mentioning the 40+ releases that happened before all of that at the beginning of the year. But alongside Reed, we had other NXT superstars, some of which were actually on the main roster, like Mercedes Martinez with Retribution, another former NXT North American champion Leon Ruff, and more. So ultimately all of these led to WWE 2K22 being delayed, with some of that blame obviously being put on WWE. And rightfully so. I will hate to be a developer at WWE 2K and waking up on a Wednesday morning just to see that another 10 superstars were released. The month after, another 10 more, which ultimately leading to even more complications for them because it's a whole licensing problem and so on. There's probably way too many details that we don't even want to get into that. Nonetheless, the reports went on to indicate that because of all of these DLC plans being ruined, WWE 2K wanted to come up with something different. And this is just a rumor as of right now, but they indicated that while there hasn't been anything to signal what the new plans are going to be, one rumor being indicated in the report is that they wanted to scrap altogether the traditional DLC format that they have, which as we know right now is usually 4 different packs. 2K20 kind of changed that a little bit because we did have the 2K Originals DLC packs instead, but nonetheless it's sort of like 4 different DLC packs, each about 2 months apart from each other, and that will basically be the full life cycle of the game. The next part is the very interesting one that I really want to talk about, and that is that instead of these standard packages, the rumor is that 2K Sports have talked about moving to a service of sort for roster updates. And this is interesting because it goes back to something we've been asking for, and something that even the developers, even Patrick Gilmore, ended up teasing literally almost over a year ago, not confirming but indicating that the team was looking at different options when it comes to updates, one of those being some type of live service strategy for the game. There was no specifics on what exactly he meant by this, but a fair speculation of live roster updates will be sort of like how it happens in other games, other sport games. For WWE, maybe it will work sort of like after every pay-per-view or after every major pay-per-view, we get a big roster update. We're not just maybe updated attires, but also switch superstars around if they were traded to a different brand, if they joined up a different division, have brand new rivals, and so on. Obviously, this will impact greatly Exhibition, whereas Universe mode would just be a complete different thing that we're able to control, so that there's no worries when it comes to those updates ultimately changing other stuff in the game that we don't really want. Another big thing will be updating the overall ratings of these superstars, because we know that changes fairly often, and we don't know who's going to become champion within the next pay-per-view or so. And last but not least would of course be adding extra superstars into that roster. Brand new NXT superstars, a brand new main roster superstars, and so on. And this type of live updates, having something like that will be awesome for the game, and it will keep the game cycle going even longer, instead of us just getting a DLC pack every 2 months with 4 to 5 superstars in it. While I was reading this, one thing that came to mind right away was the locker code. They ended up using that a lot during WWE 2K Battlegrounds, and we know that 2K does it way more often plan for NBA 2K. So I feel like that is something that they could utilize even more, and maybe that is the plan for WWE 2K22. Imagine getting some type of alternate attire or alternate model of one of our favorite superstars when big pay-per-views like Survivor Series, Royal Rumbles, and so on come around. Again, this was something that was nicely done for 2K Battlegrounds, as we got a special American Badass Undertaker to celebrate and his big debut anniversary. The same thing could be done for the milestones, major rivalries, major tag team championship wins, and so on. I feel like there's so many possibilities when it comes to that it will get people intrigued and it will get them to come back and play the game and get those cool rewards, brand new roster updates, and so on. Ultimately, the more updated the game is during its game cycle, it means that game cycle is going to be lasting longer and going to hold us off all the way up to the release of the next game. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. How would you like WWE 2K22 updates to be, and what exactly would you like to see from it? To continue being up to date, make sure to turn on those notifications, and I will catch you on the next one, so stay savage.